up to this time, we have people calling themselves Galaxy. In this modern era, you cannot be a phone. Galaxy, the JHK, I will never pick you to answer anything if you failed to rename yourself as a normal citizen. Promise, can you tell us what we looked at last week? Promise, you may unmute. Carl, Macan, Tracy, Rachel, Julie, any of you who is able to remember what we looked at last week, please remind me so that we can start our lesson after at least like 30 members have joined. So for now, we can be just reminding ourselves of what we looked at last week as we proceed. I don't want it to be the same time. You have the same people putting up their hands.
Teacher, we looked at character roles.
We looked at character roles. What did we say character roles are? When you talk of character role, what do we mean? Okay, let us be assisted by Fiona. Fiona?
The usefulness of the character.
They do what? Yes, Fiona? Yes, Fiona, are you there? Okay, for all those who did not attend last week, we looked at character role, and we said character role is the importance of a character. We looked at the role of characters to be the importance of a character to the author. He uses character to bring out his intentions. And we looked at some of those falling under plot development, character development, thematic development, lesson development. Some characters act as a mouthpiece to the author. Others help in what we call comic relief. So all those are advantages or importance or character roles in a novel, in a play, or in a book. That is what we have under there. So I hope you understood that lesson. In case anyone had an issue with developing one part, you can ask me and then I explain to you before I go to the next, before I go to what brought me here today. So in case you didn't understand anything in that line, this is the time for you to ask and then I proceed. But if all was well, then I will now go to today's topic. Actually, we want to look at a poem and we are going to change the theme. We want to go to the next theme. We want to try to look at village life. The theme of village life. Had anyone of us here looked at village life before? Maybe in their school? Anyone here? Liam, Rema, Tracy, Kalma Khan, any of you who had ever looked at this theme of village life? You could be a very good resource person to share with. Anyone? Liam, are you there?
Yes, teacher, I'm there.
Had you looked at this theme?
No.
Okay.
As far as I remember.
It's all right. If anyone had looked at it, or even if you hadn't, it's just fine, because eventually this is why we are here. Before I forget, these lessons are ending this week, then we shall have examinations and then returning of scripts. However, we are going to continue teaching. We shall record lessons and share in our account, the YouTube account. All the things that disturb you, you can now send personal questions, and then I record sessions on those questions. I post them on the YouTube channel so that it does not only help you, but other people. So instead of just texting on WhatsApp only, we can expand and we have our sessions live, being streamed live on YouTube. I could let you know the time I'm going to start my lesson, and then I stream live, or I will record the lesson and then share with you straight or in the YouTube channel. That is we are using the Christian Schools Association. So you go to your Google, if you're using a phone, go to your YouTube, type there Christian Schools Association. They'll bring you the one of Uganda. You subscribe. Why do we subscribe? So that you get notifications each time we have posted new material. You can be able to do that. It's also easier when you've subscribed for you to search for it, and then you'll be able to attend some of those lessons, because we never know when we're going back to school. So instead of being idle between November to December, we could be able to interact almost on a daily basis or weekly basis, depending on your needs. So you can come, you tell me what you need, or you text me, then I'll be able to share for everyone on our YouTube channel. Mboa, Benedict? Mboa Benedict, you may unmute. Your hand is up. Mboa Benedict, your hand is up. Okay, it seems the hand just went up. So back to our content today. So we're going to have a poem here. And the title of the poem is African Thunderstorm. I remember sharing with you the soft copy of Growing Up with Poetry.
Leave my porridge cup alone.
Now you can hear such people. They want to provoke the devil in me to say things that I shouldn't. Okay, so can I have someone read for us this poem? There are only 2 stanzas, but because of the nature of our slides, I broke them down. Bernard Prince. Bernard Prince.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
From the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind.
Begin with the title.
African Thunderstorm.
Yes.
From the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind, turning sharply here and there like a plague of locusts. Whirling, tossing up things on its tail like a madman casting nothing. Pregnant clouds ride stately on its back, gathering to its back. Gathering to perch on hills like dark, sinister wings. The wind whistles by and trees bend to let it pass. In the village, screams of diligent children toss and turn.
Is that diligent?
Oh, sorry, delighted. Should I repeat, teacher?
Yes.
In the village, screams of delighted children toss and turn in the din of the railing wind. Women, babies clinging on their backs, dart about in and out madly. The wind rails by wisps. I'm not sure. Wisps.
It's wireless.
Sorry, wireless trees bend to let it pass. Clothes wave like tattered flags, flying off to expose dangling breasts. as this word is hard to pronounce.
How come you managed to read exposing dangling breasts? Now you cannot read as jiggered blinding flashes.
No, the word jiggered was hard to read, sorry.
Okay, jiggered.
Yeah. As jiggered blinding flashes rumble, tremble, and crack amidst the smell of fired smoke and the pelting march of the storm.
Pelting much of the storm.
Sorry.
Okay,
Pelting much of the storm.
You killed it there. You killed it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let me
Okay,
take on. I'll come. Let me take on Murunji. Hey, today men are on fire in this group. Murunji. I remember
Yes,
yes, Murunji, read for us the poem.
flag.
Relax, relax.
Okay.
There.
African thunderstorm. From the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind, turning sharply here and there like a plague of locusts. Whirling, tossing up things on its tail like a madman chasing nothing. Pregnant clouds ride steadily on its back, gathering to its back. Gathering to perch on hills like dark sinister wings. The wind whistles by and trees bend to let it pass. In the village, screams of delighted children toss and turn in the din of the whirring wind. Women, babies clinging on their backs, dart about, in and out, madly. The wind whirls by, whist, trees bend to let it pass. Clothes wave like tattered flags, flying off to expose dangling breasts as jiggered blinding flashes rumble, tremble, and crack amidst the smell of fired smoke and the pelting march of the storm. David Rubadili, Malawi.
Yes, David Robadiri, Malawi. Now let me get at least a lady. The gentleman, your voice is a hoarse. Let us hear at least a girl's voice as well. Tracy. Tracy, are you on?
Yes.
Make sure you represent the girl child properly.
Yes.
Move to the next room. You are
Yes.
in the same, go to the next room. You are in the same room with everyone.
Now is it okay?
Fair. I can tolerate.
Okay. African thunderstorm. From the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind, turning sharply here and there like a plague of locusts. Whirling, tossing up things on its tail like a madman chasing nothing. Pregnant clouds ride stately on its back, gathering to its back. Gathering to perch on hills like dark sinister wings. The wind whistles
Sinister.
by the yes,
The word is sinister.
like dark sinister wings. The wind whistles by, and trees bend to let it pass. In the village, screams of delighted children toss and turn in the din of the whirling wind. Women, babies clinging on their backs, dart about. In and out madly. The wind fills by whilst trees bend to let it pass. Clothes wave like tattered flags, flying off to expose dangling breasts as jiggered blinding flashes rumble, tremble, and crack amidst the smell of fired smoke and the pelting march of the storm. David Rubadiri, Malawi.
Okay, thank you. I think the next reader should be me. I had also put up my hand and I decided to choose me, which is very fair. So let me also give you one reading and then we harmonize, especially for those who have just joined us. So, African thunderstorm. From the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind turning sharp. Tracy, I repeat, from the west, clouds come hurrying with the wind turning sharply here and there like a plague of locusts. Whirling, tossing up things on its tail like a madman chasing nothing. Pregnant clouds ride stately on its back, gathering to perch on heels like dark sinister wings. The wind whistles by and the trees bend to let it pass. In the village, screams of delighted children toss and turn in the din of the whirling wind. Women, babies clinging on their backs, dart about, in and out, madly. The wind whistles by, whilst trees bend to let it pass. Clothes wave like tattered flags, flying off to expose dangling breasts, and jiggered blinding flashes rumble, tremble, and crack amidst the smell of fired smoke and the pelting march of the storm. David Rubadiri, Malawi. So that is our poem today. And as usual, this poem falls under the theme of village life. Every theme has something it communicates under village life. For example, here, we want to, if you look at what is happening here, you'll be able to trace, is this really happening in, how is it like in the village? Maybe later on, that will be the question I'll ask you at the end of our discussion. If you compare village life and the town life, you can be able to clearly see where we belong. So when I look at the questions I have for you here, who is the speaker in the poem? What is the subject matter about? What are your feelings towards children and then the women? What do the following phrases mean according to the poem? Pregnant clouds and trees bend to let it pass. What makes the poem interesting? Those are the few questions that we have. If you have any question, I will welcome your questions. Okay, so gentlemen and ladies that we have here, can we try to begin from this? Who is the speaker in this poem? Who do you think is speaking in this poem after all those readings? Who do you think is speaking? Annette, Kalma Khan, Chirabo. Chirabo, when was the last time you said something in this class? Chirabo, unmute. Chirabo. Chiravo? Albert. I think Albert has never spoken in this class. Albert. The term is ending. We are doing end of term and you have never said the word. Alexa. There are people who are just here by the nature of their letters, their names, they appear first. But in speaking, they are the last. Albert, Alexa, and it but today. I have never heard from any of you people. Can you say something today apart from just the usual Liam, and everything? Can we have someone tell me the speaker in this poem? Who do you think is the speaker? David Rubadiri is the speaker. Really? The poet is not the speaker in his own poem. He chooses someone to speak. Writing the poem does not mean you are the speaker in that poem. You choose someone, an object, something to represent. You mean you're not seeing the poem? Can you see my screen? Claire? Claire, are you seeing my screen?
Yes, teacher.
What is on my screen? Blessing, are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
What is on my screen?
What do the following phrases mean according to the poem? Pregnant clouds and trees bend to let it pass.
Yeah, that means someone who is not seeing my screen, it's your network. The person who is not seeing my screen, it is simply your network. Try to reposition yourself, you re-log in, it will be just fine. Now, if you can hear me, then I want an answer. Kalma Khan. The problem is you are fearing now to share. You are fearing to tell me. Ellie, Heavens used to be a very bright student in this class. I don't know what happened. Heavens.
Yes, teacher.
What happened? You used to be my friend.
Okay, teacher, I think the speaker in the poem is maybe a village dweller.
A village dweller. How do you know he's a village dweller? And what do you mean by village dweller?
Like someone who has spent all their time in the village.
Mm-hmm. Is there that part which says, all my life I have seen the village winds come from this side?
No.
Because that's how you get to know that the poem is talking about a village dweller. Maybe there should be a direction towards that. But at least there is something you've told us that the person is in the village. Yes, that is true, but we want to be more particular. Thank you for the try. Let me take Mondise. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Mondise? Mondise.
Yes, sir.
Is that the pronunciation of your name?
It's Mondesi.
Mondesi.
Yes.
Bite it.
I think the speaker is a villager who is, I think, well experienced with these thunderstorms, who took his time to know all the details of a thunderstorm.
Okay, there is an idea there. Thank you. Liam?
Yes, teacher.
Mm.
I think
Your network?
speaking of the poem and which village is facing.
I beg your pardon?
Is this better? Is this better?
Yes, that's better, yes.
Okay, I think the speaker in the poem is a person who lives in the village and whose village is facing a thunderstorm.
Okay, the person lives in, now there is no direct connection to the fact that this person lives in the village, But where do you think this person is at the time the storm is happening? That is now a question that can guide us. Where do you think this person is? Henry, this is your class. The school is ending and you're not saying a word. Yusuf, Grace Precious, say something. Where do you think this person is at the point of occurrence when this storm is happening? Yes, Blessing?
I think the person is in the forest.
The person is in the forest? Where is the forest?
Because the speaker tries to describe the effect of the winds on the trees and how the trees give way for the winds to pass. I think that's what I think.
Okay, that is, don't you think you would have been blown by the winds? You would have said, maybe the winds have taken me and we are flying. Henry, finally I've brought someone out of hiding. Henry.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Every day I want to hear you.
So I think it is like someone is outside and tries to describe the African or the village life outside when it's starting to rain. And he has ever been to the village, or he's already someone who's
This children. Okay, thank you, Mondesi. Mondesi?
Yes, sir.
Second try?
Yes, I think the person where the person would be is maybe in his hut or house, observing what is taking place outside.
You can stop there. You can stop there. The English word is observer because he's observing. So is an observer. But we can add another adjective. Which one is that? A critical observer. Young girls and boys, I want you to learn how to think. I'm not saying you're not thinking, but I'm only saying you need to help yourself to at least read a poem. And you see, for us as literature scholars, ours is to understand interpretation and give solutions. So if you're to look at a problem and you're not able to really see what it is about, then you will miss out. This person, he's an observer. It doesn't matter where he is, yes, or it doesn't matter if he's a villager or he's what, but the whole point is he's an observer. He's very critical to even see dangling breasts. That is how critical he is. He's able to see how the wind is tossing things. That is being critical. So we can take here the speaker to be a person who is an observer, but on that case, it is a critical observer who is able to notice what the wind is doing to the people in the village. So that's what we can say, at least for here. That here, the poem, the speaker in the poem is an observer, but most importantly, critical observer. Critical observer. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to tell you. Heavens, are you there? Where is Heavens? Mondesa, is your hand up or you left it up?
I left it up.
Okay, fine. But do you see how I'm trying to show you how to get or to know who the speaker is? But Aneti, but Gracie, who are just quiet here. I can never know if I'm doing a good job or nothing. There are people who never tell you if they are satisfied or if they are hungry. Grace.
Teacher.
Are you hungry? Are you satisfied?
No, I'm hungry because I'm new in class and I've just joined today.
Okay.
Yes.
It is unfortunate
So
that
I've joined late, but I want to get a glimpse of what we are learning.
This is literature. I hope you offer literature.
Yes, I am a literature offer.
Okay, and we are now in about the third theme. After love, we went to, what was the other thing we looked at? Death and ancestors. Today we are looking at village life. We also looked at identity. So after all those, now we are today under village life, and the first poem we are using is African Thunderstorm. And we have read through the poem. You were there from the beginning, at least I'm sure. You were there
No, from the beginning. I started when you're asking questions about who is this, what is the subject matter about. That's where I started.
I've not even asked what the subject matter is. Do you see how you are a bad liar?
No, who is the speaker or village dweller? That's where I started from.
Yes, that's where we are, and we have answered. So what I have done, what I can do is, I'm going to give you a chance to take screenshots.
Okay.
You know how to do that, I'm very sure.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
I know.
Good. This is the first page here, African Thunderstorm. Take a screenshot. When you're done, you let me know. I take you to the next page.
I've finished, teacher.
That one.
I've finished.
Take the next one. Is the phone good? Yes. And finally, that one. And finally, that one. So you read that poem, then you can catch up with us.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay. So we go back to the next bit. That is, what is the subject matter of the poem? That's what I expect us to be able to share. What is the subject matter of the poem? The usual suspects, you come in. There are people, Teddy, I failed to read that name. Teddy, you have never spoken in this class. The semester is ending. Eddie, the school is closing. You have never said anything. Claire used to be a very bright student. I don't know what happened. Yes, Teddy. Benjamin also used to be active until somehow, I don't know if the lockdown has shut him down as well. Subject matter. Heavens, I think is cooking. She's off and on. Heavens, are you attending this class?
Yes, teacher.
I feel like you are cooking, so you are balancing between me and food.
No, I just came in late.
Okay. So what is the subject? What is the subject matter here? You can see you are still being disturbed. Albert, Annette, let us be active. This is our class. Let us enjoy our class. Let me see. Rema, Rachel. This was also my student. I don't know where she transferred to. Do we still have Promise in this class? Promise, are you still my student, or you gave the phone to someone else?
Teacher, I'm here.
Yeah, I want the answer. I'm here talking to myself and my voice is drying. Yvonne. Yvonne. Yvonne, I'm asking you to unmute. You have decided even to switch off. Kalkan. I really don't want to just be giving you answers. I want us to derive. At least you'd rather try. Then when you fail, I can be able to build on from there. That's how it works. That's how best it works. Yes. Even Liam today has disappeared. Liam, is it end of term? What are you people missing? Liam, are you okay?
Yes, teacher, I'm okay, but according to how you told us to read the subject matter, it was a lengthy thing, so I'm still trying to get out the paragraph.
Okay, no, but at least give us an insight of what you think the poem is about before even you actually, because this time around I typed it even for you, but I'm only asking, can someone at least try to give me what the poem is about before I just tell you? I know it's my job, but I'm also here to make you to learn how to give a try here and there. So give you a try, then I will have Brenda, I will have Clear.
It's okay, teacher. I think the poem is about an African thunderstorm, whereby the writer talks about what happens when the thunderstorm comes, where, for example, when they say that the trees bend to let the wind pass, to let the wind pass, as it comes with pregnant clouds, where pregnant clouds means with rain. Yes, so he's basically describing what happens in an African village when a thunderstorm comes, how people start running around, trying to get into their houses, how the sky, he describes how the sky looks like. He also describes the behavior of the trees. Yes, I think that's what the poem is about.
Okay, you have a good idea, 50%, just the nomenclature. Only your words, we can twist them to make sense, but there as well, I do understand, thank you. Let me have Terry. And then after, Promise. Terry, your hand is up, you may unmute. Buona Terry, your hand is up, or you are just putting up for the sake? Yes, Terry?
Okay. To me, I'm going to give you a point. Okay. So, according to me, the subject matter, the speaker is describing the approach of the storm. What happens when a storm comes? What characterizes a typical African storm? So the storm is characterized by, can say, chaos, confusion, the image of locusts, madman, the confusion that comes with rain. Then also the speaker is also mainly characterizing the reaction of the people that are in the poem, the ones reacting to the storm. How do they react when they see a storm coming? You see the children are happy, they are very excited because some may have never seen the storm, so they are curious to know what happens. They are happy to see one for themselves. Then the women, we see the women here are worried. Some are scared, others are nervous about the effects because they already know the dangers that are associated with the storm approaching. Then the speaker is also trying to illustrate the anticipation that comes with the storm. What I would use some words that are in the poem like rumble, tremble, and crack. Those words is trying to illustrate the anticipation, how people, the things that surprise that bring a sense of surprise to the people as the storm approaches. Then, yeah, I think that's for me. That's what I think.
Henry. Henry? Has Henry already disappeared? Henry? Can you hear me? Henry, are you there? Now, Henry has given us 70%, if not 80% of the subject matter. In fact, if it was a normal classroom setting, I would have bought for Henry special lunch today. He wouldn't have eaten with all of you. You are all in the ordinary. He's today in the VIP session. Henry has scored heavily in terms of subject matter. He has been able to break down for us who exactly we are talking about, where and how. Let me hear from Rema. Rema says, in the poem, we see the threat of incoming thunderstorm to an African village. The power of this storm is emphasized with the statement that the wind forces the trees to bend as it whistles by. The theme of the poem is nature, man versus nature, and mode is one of impending doom and terror. Hey! Goodness Lord, this class is wonderful today. What is happening today? Rema, thank you so much for sharing. How I wish sometimes you put up your hands and tell people these things, you know? Thank you so much. She has shared something in the chat. Maybe, I don't know, did you share with everyone? She shared with me only. Let me copy and paste it to everyone in the meeting. Okay, copy. And paste. That is Rema's idea. The one I have shared is not mine, but Rema. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, exactly what she has scored is what I expected of us. Let me hear from Alexa Shan, and then I will go to the next person. Alexa Shan?
The question.
Yes.
Reading this poem, it looks like it has meanings instead of what people are talking about, man versus nature.
Okay.
I was saying that during this poem, we find out that it's talking about an African village, but if you relate it to our present day settings, it sounds about how people from the West come with maybe war or terror to African people. Then, like in a second stanza, it comes in the village, screams of delighted children, toss and turn around. What I'm trying to ask, does it look as if there are two meanings to that poem, or it's just one?
Now, in your levels, O level, you're doing what we call introduction to literature. So you give what we call elementary meaning. Are we together? You give the what you see is what you give. You don't give us the inner meaning, because there are two meanings in literature. What we apply them in A level, when we talk about the surface meaning and the underlying meaning in it. So here we shall just look at the surface meaning. Do you see my screen? Hello, anyone who sees my screen and tells me what is there? Terry, Benjamin, Blessing, Brenda, anyone who is seeing my screen? Fiona, what do you see? Fiona, unmute and tell me what you see. Heavens, what do you see? Heavens, what do you see? Simply unmute and let me know. Anyone who's seeing what is on my screen?
The subject matter.
Okay. I have written for you that subject matter so that you're able to see how they state it. I have it in one paragraph. This is what okay.
Subject.
So here I looked at what the poem is about. So I chose to say that the poem African Thunderstorm is a description of an impending or upcoming storm. In the poem, the speaker makes a description of the behavior of different kinds of people towards the wind. This is what Henry was saying. The women's unrest and fear is contrasted with the happy or jovial mood of the children because of their innocence and naivety. In the poem, the speaker describes the magnitude or intensity of the storm. He likens it to a madman since it tosses up things. So I have decided to interpret the entire poem and given each of those, and rather put all of it in one paragraph. This is what Henry was saying in very many words. However, I would have scored him at least 6 out of 6 if that was what I was giving for subject matter. So this is what we are saying. I hope others can all clearly see what is there. The others who are claiming they're not seeing. So I hope you can see that. That is what that's our subject matter today. It is that simple. So Liam, as you're making yours, remember it is supposed to be in your own words. We avoid using the same words from the poem because they will not be considered. It means you have not understood that word. You must give me synonyms of those words so that when you talk about a storm, what is the meaning of the storm now? You give me another word. Or if, for example, let me take a look at, let me stop sharing this. Then, if my screen has changed to something else, you let me know. For example, if they tell you that the wind is whirling pregnant clouds, riding steadily, you must be able to interpret those ones and give us your interpretation when you're writing the subject matter, so that you don't use words like whirling, tossing up, riding. Now the riding steadily on its back, it means the rains are coming, the storm is approaching. So that's what we are saying, that you use your own words. Don't again use the words of the author, or rather the poet. And it is never true that the poet is the speaker in his own poem. That is not possible. He chooses to, for example, you may have never been to the village. Maybe let me get you examples here. How many of you have been to the village when it's raining or when it's going to rain? Is there a similarity between this poem and what happens in your actual villages? Yes, let's not pretend that we're all from Kampala here. Heaven, thank you. You tell us your village and then you tell us what happens when it's going to rain in your village.
Our village is in Bushenyi.
Bushenyi.
Yes.
What happens in that Bushenyi village when it's going to rain? Is there a comparison? Is there at least, what tell us?
So when it's going to rain, you see the women that have been in the garden digging, running up and down with their children. You see the children running around. Yes.
And between the mothers and the children, who is more excited?
The children.
Why?
Because they don't know what's happening.
To me, in my village, the excitement was because we are going to bathe under rain. We would play, we would play throughout the rain. We would be under it, and we would be sliding and gliding on anything that enables the exercise. So that's why. So if you look at this poem and what happens in our actual villages, and yet in town, when you have left Bushenyi and now you are in town, when it's going to rain, what happens?
There's no excitement. Everyone just locks themselves in their house. And
most of the girls, they dive into the bed. The boys are watching TV, or somehow people do not get so excited about rain. Instead, we know power will go off. So we are so upset when it rains. So that's what I'm trying to, yeah. So that's the actual nature of it. So when you look at the description of the village setting, indeed, this poem deserves to be under the theme of village life because we see actual things happening in the village. Liam, you want to supplement? Okay, I think her hand is down. All right. So that's what we're saying. That's what the poem is all about. Henry the farmer. What do you mean, Henry the farmer? Murunji, if you're not hearing me, then I think it's a problem with your network. You can simply shift your location and then you'll be able to get clearly what I am saying. Liam, your hand is up.
Yes, teacher. Aside from this poem, I tried a subject matter for another poem, Death Be Not Proud. But yeah, I wanted to read it out and I see you give me marks.
Okay.
Yes, teacher. So I'm starting.
Please.
The speaker in the poem is comforting death, saying that it is not as powerful as some people say. He continues to say that death cannot defeat him and compares it to sleep. He also says that when people die, their bodies rest and their souls move on to some other place. He says that death is only a slave and that many more things can also make us sleep. He concludes saying that death is only temporary.
Okay, instead of saying other place, in that place of other place, you place eternal life. That death is only a passage to eternal life. Yes, so you can make that. Yes, if I was marking, as long as I'm able to kiss it, I would give you about 4 to 5. 4, literally. Maybe I would stop. I'm not very mean with marks, but I would give you 4 because I've kept hearing some of the words from the poem.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
You're welcome. So yes, going back to our poem, I expect us to always approach subject matter in such a way that we interpret word for word what the poem is about, because that's what subject matter is all about. It is what the poem is in your own words, not copying and pasting the words of the author, or rather the poet. What are your feelings towards children and the women? What are your feelings towards the children and the women? Jesse, the term is ending. At least say hello. You can unmute and say hello. Jesse. Ellie, at least say hello and then, you go off. I would understand. Ellie, there are people, even if you paid them to talk, they would keep quiet. Ellie, I'm giving you 5,000 if you said hello. Yes, Henry, Terry?
Excitement.
What are your
The
feelings?
children.
No, not what are the feelings of the children. What are your feelings towards the children?
Yes, my feelings towards the children.
Then you say excitement.
No. I feel
is that how we state
feelings? Scared for
that
the children because some might get, might turn out dangerous for them if they stay too long. No.
Terry, how did we say we state the? I'm not really laughing at you, yeah. I know you had a loaded answer towards one direction, and then eventually
yes.
I've diverted you to another direction.
Yes,
we do not state themes by saying, feelings by saying I am feeling. That's not right. Are we together? That's not how we state. Let me hear from Chan. Kalma.
Yes.
It's okay. Let's hear from Kalma. Yes, Kalma.
My feelings towards the children is excitement, teacher. because it's going to be their first time to see how the storm is gonna come. So some might get hurt, some might know how it.
So you are excited that they are going to get hurt?
No, teacher. There are some children who have never seen it, so they want to see it. So some are excited.
Listen, I'm not saying what are the feelings of the children. There are two questions about feelings. There is what are your feelings towards the characters, or what is the character's feeling towards the subject? Those are two things.
My character, my feelings towards the children, teacher, it remains exciting because they will.
Then you are not ready. Please learn how to state them. I really want Moronji. Let me hear from Moronji. Moronji, what are you feeling?
Pity for the children.
Pity for the children. Yes, pity for the children who are innocent about the dangers of the storm. Now that is a good feeling. You cannot say a feeling of excitement. What are you excited about? Thank you, Moronji. Let me take Tracy. Yes, Tracy?
It was the same.
It was the same. Now I'm giving you a chance to make research. The remaining questions you are going to do as an assignment. I'm going to post this work under assignment. Then you try it out. Even if I don't put it as assignment, okay, the person says, the teacher, the person and the persona confuse me. What do you mean? We only have one question. There is the speaker or the persona. Persona is the speaking voice. Are we together? The one that communicates. For example, when you look at this passage, rather this poem, you know that someone is the one telling us what is happening. We are seeing the storm using someone's eyes or through someone's eyes. When he says, let's begin from the first one. He says, from the west, the clouds come hurrying. This person who is seeing this wind come from the west is the persona, is the speaker of our poem. There is no person. We just have persona. Now, there is what we call the poet. The poet is the writer of the poem. It is unlikely that the poet and the persona are the same. Okay, then finally, I wanted to say this to people. I said, these classes are ending, you all know that. But as teachers who want to continue teaching you, we have another solution to the problem. We shall be uploading this work to our YouTube channel as colleagues. So we are asking you that if you want to continue learning with us, you subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell as many colleagues of yours as you can to subscribe to the channel. Let me first stop sharing and I show you how we do it, so that next time you can go there and find, we shall all upload work, all the teachers who teach you. We shall even ask you to forward us the questions of areas that challenge you, so that when we upload the work to our YouTube, you are able to go there and find out Christian Schools Association. You simply go there and you're able to pick, you're able to pick for us that different, you can be able to get as much work as you can from that point. So instead of these lessons ending and you're idle between November and December, we can continue interacting with you in such a way that you go to our YouTube channel, you subscribe. You always hit that button of subscribe, hit the button for subscribe, and you're able to, Christian Just the network disturbing a bit here. Christian School Association Uganda. This very one here, you're seeing, the very first one, you hit it, already subscribed. So each time any teacher uploads work, I simply go and if you hadn't sub, it would be around here. You simply hit subscribe and you'll be able to watch all the videos. Even the work that I'm doing right now is being live streamed. So that's how we can continue interacting, so that you don't miss out with all the work. Or if you have any question, or you forward to me, I compile work in that line. That's how we shall be dealing now after this. It is a very good thing because it will keep you busy from November up to December. That's how I would categorize that. I hope you've understood that. If you have any question along that line, you can always ask. Then in the next lesson, I will be able to still explain. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending this lesson. You have always been a good audience and I'm proud to be your teacher. Liam shared his feelings. He said a feeling of pity is aroused in me. That is true. That is okay. Thank you so much. That is a good one. All right. So that's what I had for you today. Unless otherwise, if you have any question, you can always ask. For now, let us call it a lesson. You're welcome, Claire. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Welcome.
Give me back my porridge. My